And welcome back to Offside. Now, joining us in the studio right now, we have got Steve Troy. Steve Troy is a goalball player. Now, goalball, of course, shot to fame during the Paralympics, and Steve is here to explain a little bit about the rules. So, Steve, off you go.
Lovely. I always pass it to other people as it happens. Goalball is a three-a-side game for primarily blind people or partially sighted. However, at domestic level, fully sighted people can play because everybody will wear eye shades similar to these.
Do they black everything out?
Yes, the referees will check them before the game starts to ensure that you can't see any light at all.
So no one's at an advantage?
Nobody's got any advantage.
I'm always at an interest to find out where these sort of sports come from. So how long has goalball been going on for?
Goalball was first played in 1947, I think.
Oh,
47
really?
or 46. It was devised by an Austrian gentleman who, in order to rehabilitate soldiers from the Second World War who'd lost their eyesight. Because if you play goalball, you'll know that it's very good for mobility around the court and for communicating, because nobody can see what's happening because they've got the eye shades on, so it's a lot of talking and communication between the players.
And how does the game actually work then? So, I mean, I know the layout of the game, and so does Jules, of course, but anybody out there who's never seen it before, it's effectively almost like a tennis court size, I suppose, slightly larger than that, with two goals at either end that run the length of the pitch. And there are three players on each team, like you were saying. Then what happens? You get the ball, and the idea is to?
It's a volleyball court, and it's split into 6 3-metre areas. The idea is that before the game starts, because everybody's blind, the referee will ask for quiet, please. He or she will then announce which teams are on the left or on the right. Sorry, then he'll say quiet, please. Then he or she will throw the ball into the centre player, calling centre to alert them that it's coming. And the centre player will either shoot himself on the referee's blowing of the whistle 3 times, or he'll pass it to one of his winger players, his wing players. It's primarily the wing players are your offensive players. Your centre player is your main defensive player.
So how would they know when the ball's coming? Is there a noise within the ball or something?
Yeah, I have a goal ball with me here. It weighs about 1.2 kilos.
Can I have a look at that?
And it
okay.
Of course, it is quite heavy, actually.
It's about the size of a basketball.
It is, it's about the size of a basketball, yeah.
Oh, so you can...
And I suppose that's why, of course, the crowd has to be quiet.
So you can pick up the ball, the sound of the ball. Now, if you see a goalball cut in the layout, there's a front line where the centre player is standing, and in front of that, there is what's known as a high ball line. And when you throw the ball, it must touch the floor before that high ball line, or else you've conceded a penalty, an individual penalty. And you would have to defend a shot from the opposition by yourself. You'd cover the whole 30-foot goal by yourself.
But how do you know where you are in relation to the goal that you're defending and where you are actually on the pitch, I suppose, on the court?
Inside your goal area, you have 3 lines.
Yeah.
The centre line for the centre player to orientate himself, and 2 wing lines for the left and right winger, which come in 1.5 meters from the outside, from the sideline of the court. And those are all used for orientation purposes.
And are they raised slightly?
They are. They've got string underneath them, and there's tape over the top of the string. The whole court has string going across and round it that's taped down, so blind people can orientate themselves by touch.
Excellent.
Either by feet or fingers.
And from what we saw earlier on, obviously to block the goal, you have to dive one way or the other. Is your top, like obviously with clothing-wise, is it all padded? Is that the top you're wearing?
The top I'm wearing would have elbow pads, slightly padding on the elbow. But in addition, players will wear knee pads, shin pads.
Do you have any heads, like a helmet? No.
No.
Okay.
They'll wear shin pads, knee pads, elbow pads. The girls will wear a chest protector, and the guys will wear a cricket box.
Because it does seem to be quite vicious when that ball gets rolled really fast. You don't want to be hitting the wrong place, do you?
They play, when they had a tournament in Sweden recently, and I would imagine it was the same in the Paris, the ball is timed at leaving some of the Lithuanian hands, for example, at 80 kilometres an hour.
Wow.
God, that's
so
fast.
How popular is goalball now?
Goalball is becoming more and more popular even before the Paris, but the Paris is obviously going to be hopefully a catalyst where we really do take off. We've probably increased from maybe a dozen teams pre Goalball UK being set up in 2009, and we're now in the 20s, I would think.
Wow. And so if you want to find out about maybe a local goalball team or a local league or something like that, where do you go to find that information?
There's a website which is www.goalballuk.co.uk.
Fantastic. We'll
And
probably
that
put
has
that.
a list of everywhere, all the clubs' contacts on there.
Well, we'll put that on the website as well, I'm guessing, for the end.
Yeah, we can do that. And can I just ask one last thing? How popular is it got in the UK? How many players do you know that they currently have at the moment?
20 odd, more than 20 teams. Each team would have a minimum of 4. I'd say we've got over 100 players now. Well over 100.
So each team has 3 players on each side. So is it a squad of 4, a squad of 5? Do you make substitutions? Or?
Under the rules, you can have 6 players in your squad, 3 on the court, 3 on the bench, and you can make 3 substitutions throughout the game.
And a game, as we discussed earlier, off camera, of course, is 12 minutes a half.
Correct.
But that's 12 minutes of actual playing time.
That's 12 minutes stopping time. So a game could, one half could last for 20 minutes or more.
Right, okay. And as a spectator, I mean, going to see a sport that requires silence during the actual action, as it were, how is it when you're playing it to feel that that excitement in the crowd for when, you know, a goal goes in? I know cheering happens when a goal goes in, but...
Yes, unfortunately, sometimes it can be very difficult. It's great for the players to get the adrenaline buzz, but sometimes if you think the ball is going to go in, but it then hits the post and it's rolling around and the crowd are oohing and ahhing, then the referee will have to stop the game and start and call an official timeout for noise. And then you start with the opposition taking the ball back because it's unfair on the players if they can't hear.
Absolutely. And so for the sort of blind community out there, I hate to label communities, but say the blind community out there. Yeah. How important, how vital are these sorts of sports?
They are very important for communication, for social skills, and for orientation. They help tremendously. All of them, not just goalball, football, cricket. They horses. Everything helps a blind person get out and meet people of their own levels, and not only them, but also sighted people.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
For some blind people, staying at home all day gets a little bit lonely.
It seems
but
horrible
sport
to
is
have
a great
to say.
outlet.
Absolutely, it seems stupid to say to somebody, oh, you can't possibly play a sport because you have a disability of some kind, whilst we're going to go and do everything else under the sun. So it's fantastic to have an outlet for anybody, I suppose.
Yes,
absolutely.
it's tremendous.
Well, thank you very much for coming in today, Steve. It's really, really interesting. And obviously, I didn't really know much about goalball before this, so I've learnt a little bit more today.
Anybody's welcome to come along to a training session in London at any time.
Fantastic. Well, we've got all the details and we'll pop them all on the website, so anyone that's listening can...
I'm thinking about you, Jules.
I'll come and have a go.
We'll all have a go. We'll come along, won't we? We'll give it a go.
We will
yes,
do.
Yes. Thank you very much, Steve.
And now, isn't it frustrating just trying to explain the offside rule?
Hello, I've just been set a challenge. I've got to display my football knowledge by explaining the offside rule as simply as possible to someone with no idea about the game. Now, I've been a passionate football fan for over 20 years with a broad understanding of all aspects of the sport, and today I've brought along my wife who knows nothing about football whatsoever. Do you, darling?
Nope, not at all.
She doesn't even understand the simplest footballing terms, do you, sweetheart?
No. But I do love it when they kick a goal.
Bless. Now, in order to help with my explanation, I've brought along some items from home that my wife will be very familiar with, and these will help her get a better grasp of exactly what I'm saying.
Lovely. Oh, what have you got there?
Well, first of all, I've got this electric whisk box, which will represent our goal. And then here we have an air freshener to be the defending team's goalkeeper. Great. And here we have some bicarbonate of soda and some moisturiser to be our defenders. And, no, leave that, darling, that's John Terry. And some ground nutmeg and a salt cellar to be our attackers. And, of course, finally, this OXO cube will be the ball.
Oh, fantastic.
OK, are you ready then, darling?
Yes.
OK, watch carefully, here we go. When one attacker passes to another, if that player is closer to the goal than either of the defenders at the moment the ball is passed, then that player is deemed to be offside and the defending team get a free kick. Do you see?
But if the attacker is lying down with an injury, or if they're returning from a previous phase of play, then aren't they deemed not to be interfering with play and therefore not offside?
Pardon?
Do you know what really annoys me is that there are so many incorrect decisions made by the linesman? I mean, when you watch the replay, the attackers are often level.
Yeah. Hang on, what?
I know that football is a lot faster than it used to be. That's the foreign influence for you. In fact, I do think that there are too many foreign players in the Premiership, and that's why the English national team struggle.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something to do with the level of coaching as well. Hopefully, though, the new National Football Centre in Burton should help with that, shouldn't it, darling? I mean, we need to teach young kids more technical ability, otherwise we're always going to be lagging behind the Germans, the Italians, the Spanish. So, where are you going, darling?
I've got some ironing to do.
Well, that reminds me of pretty much every football conversation I've had with you, Jules.
Thank you. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check our website, which should be on the bottom of your screens now. It's www.off-side.co.uk for all of today's information, latest news and extra content.
Yes, and of course, don't forget to follow us on Twitter as well. It's off_sideshow. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Bye.